Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the weekly Wednesday for the Financial Freedom newsletter, where every week, every Wednesday, we delve into something inspirational, motivational, something excerpt taken from the Financial Freedom weekly newsletter. Wherever you are, if you're listening on Spotify, on iTunes, Google, be sure to click the like, subscribe, share, comment. And without ado, let's get into the show. Welcome everybody to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, we talk about 4 different types of freedom: time, financial, location, health freedom. And in that light, I'm always interviewing entrepreneurs, thought leaders, people doing things on the cutting edge. So today I have a guest, W.T. Hamilton, and he's a mindset coach. W.T.'s discovered cheat codes that have enabled him to achieve personal impossibilities that he shares with clients. So today is going to be talking all about mindset, getting focused, success. And with that, I'm happy to welcome W.T. to the show. Welcome.
And thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, you founded Mindset for Success Training, and it's you're a mindset coach, entrepreneur, specialized in helping clients take their $1 million ideas and turning them into amazing products and services, applying principles of growth mindset. So tell us more about you yourself and how you got started.
Yeah, so I was working as a production manager in a company, in a business that I really liked. I really enjoyed what I was doing. And then 2009 came, and the stock market crash affected, so this business was in the trucking industry. Even though the crash was in the housing, it affected the banks, which affected loans. And so all of a sudden I found myself, the company went into receivership, and I found myself in a situation where I was no longer in control of my financial security. I was no longer in control of my career. Other people were. And I said to myself, that's not right. That's not how it should be. I should be in charge of it, because I got to pay the bill at the end of the day. So I should be in charge of how that happens. So I started looking at, okay, how do I take charge of that? What do I got to do? And I discovered through my mom, actually shared the secret with me, the book. And she shared it with me and my 2 brothers. But she thought, okay, WT is not going to like this, because he's so skeptical, and this is all kind of woo-woo stuff, and he won't like it. But it really resonated with me, because it kind of fit into the way I was thinking, but I didn't realize it was a thing. But I would always focus on something I wanted to have happen, and then take action to make it happen. So that started me on the journey of, learning about mindset and how to use it for career, how to use it for entrepreneurship, how to use it for advancement. So not so much the spiritual side of it. I was looking at the focused thought and the practical application, because for me, there's a lot of practical application in it without the spiritual stuff. And I found that when you go with the spiritual stuff, it pushes away people like myself that are more business minded and career minded. So that's really how I got into that aspect of it. And that led me to meeting people, and they wanted coaching on becoming entrepreneur and doing some of the things that I was able to do, because I was able to create my own book series, the 1 chapter book series, which really helped entrepreneurs solve one entrepreneur problem in 1 chapter at a time. And so that's kind of my story of how I got to where I am now.
Yeah, I read that book, The Secret, I think in 2007 or something, and quite interesting. It's it has its critics and also its supporters, but all of it's talking about attracting abundance. So we talk about a couple of 5 major ideas, and one is you talk about getting focused, and of course, this year everybody's doubling down. Tell us the key factor to creating success.
So really, there's so many different things that you almost need a key ring for success, but focus and tackling your fears are the 2 big things. Because when I talk about personal impossibles, it's things that other people are doing, you would love to be able to do, but for some reason you think you can't do it. And so I always walk people through is, tell me the reasons why you can't do it. All the things that you think are stopping you from being able to do it. And now let's look at a solution for each one. Sometimes you don't like the solution. The solution means you got to do a whole bunch of work. But when you're focused on the outcome that you want to have and not worrying about what can go wrong, just focusing on the best outcome that you want to have, and then starting to look at what is it that I really need. And usually it's a change in your attitude. You need some skills and you need some experience. So you need to actually take the theory and start applying it and seeing the results and measuring the results, and then looking at, okay, what can I do better next time? Because you're never going to be awesome at it the first time you try, but what can I do next time to get a little bit better at it, gain a little bit more experience so that I can really achieve that goal, not just a little bit, but the maximum result that I could get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you say that, it's really well said. And it reminds me of this thing where it's everything is based on patterns, and first it's unconscious, and then we basically, when we become mindful of our patterns, and we can sort of start to cultivate this mental landscape of abundance, and that's how you start to manifest. And you talk about the mindset hack that everyone needs to know. Elaborate on that.
So the mindset hack everyone needs to know, people really, they know it, but they don't do it, which is, if you take this one thing out of your mindset, it's going to open up the door for everything else. And the one thing is, take away the option of things being easy, because nothing is easy at the beginning. And we hold on to this need for easy and instant, and I can learn this in 90 days, even though, if you're taking a course in university, it takes you at least 2 years just to get the basic part of that course. But you somehow think you can do an entrepreneur thing or something that you decide you want to do in 90 days because you decided you can. And then you think everything's just going to fall into place. So once you remove easy, that's the real mindset hack. Everyone needs to know that nothing is easy. Nothing from learning to walk, learning to talk, to driving a car, nothing is easy. So don't expect something you've never done before to be easy, but it's not as hard as you think it is either.
Yeah.
All it is you got to focus on it and understand that other people have already done it, so you can do it too. You just need to learn what natural talents do you have in that, and then what skills you need to hone in to be able to achieve that.
I like that. Nothing is easy. For you, we go through this, especially with 2023. It's a new year, and people start out, they gung-ho the first couple of weeks, first couple of days, and then sort of peter out. So what would you tell someone who wants to give up?
So everybody gets there. I went through that even recently, like at the end of last year, working on YouTube, and at one point it felt like I've done as much as I could do. And then I sat down and I looked at, have I really done as much as I could do? Or have I only done as much as I was willing to do? So it's really finding a way to celebrate your small wins, because every day you're finding small wins if you can recognize them. And there's things that if you really look back at where you are right now and where you started, even if it was only a couple of weeks ago, you've probably moved forward a little bit from where you were. And if you just put a little bit more effort into it, and like I said, take away easy and just look at, okay, what is the solution I need right now to get me over this next hump? And it could be as simple as, you might need to farm out a piece of that business. There might be something in your business or in your goal that's too hard. Like if you're doing fitness, maybe you need a personal trainer just for the next few weeks to help keep you motivated, or maybe you need a motivation partner. But you need to do something besides just being motivated, because motivation is not enough. It's not strong enough to push you through the hurdle. So you need to actually find the baby step wins. And once you recognize the little wins, you feel so much better, because you're like, oh yeah, this is really working. It might not be working on a big scale, but I can see that, I was thinking about doing this yesterday. I put a little bit of action into it, and now I got a small little result. So what if I put a little bit more action into it, do the same thing, but a little bit better? I'm going to get a bigger result. You start to fuel off of just your little wins. And those are so important, especially when you're trying to build a habit.
Yeah. It's all about reminds me of it's all about momentum. And it's really interesting because you like, in projects I'm always looking for that edge and that little piece, and how can I expand. And so for you, when what was the moment that, like, basically the aha moment, that light bulb went out, the big game changer for you?
So the big game changer was when when it was COVID. So before COVID hit, I was like hustling, grinding. I got to be everywhere. I don't want to miss any events. I got to be always doing something. And and it was really just a pursuit of money. And when COVID hit and I found I'm not doing as much, but somehow I magically had more money, and I started to realize, like, I only need so much money, but if I'm really focused on adding value to people, more money comes to you anyways, because you just increase your worth, you increase your value by adding value to other people's lives. So I started to focus on really just putting better quality stuff out on social media, doing more things for free, just to really help people. And by doing that, you get a better exposure, and your focus is not on money. Now it's on experiences and building memories. So that was the big game changer for me. And that's really the mission that I'm on now, is just building great experiences and having fun helping people.
Yeah, I love that because talking to creatives, entrepreneurs in this day and age, it's all about like, in the past, people were always striving for their, like, maximize income, maximize your net worth so you can go out and buy the next thing, and then this perpetual, rat race. And then now people value time. So, like, time freedom is, and then location, those are kind of the absolute, what you described as experiences, which is so beautifully said. And, when you, like, money is like an idea. So it's like, it's an exchange. So it's just paper and ink. So more value you offer more value, then it's kind of this financial energy karma. So, people think you have to, like, struggle, but it's almost like a game changer what you talk about. So yeah, the other thing is, people listening to this, especially law of attraction, manifest success. If you had to start all over again, what would you do differently? Somebody listening to this, they're 18-year-old, and they have the world ahead of them. How would they get a head start?
So really, it's about just having experiences first, just doing things to gain knowledge. So don't worry so much about your success in anything, but really just try things out, see what works, see what doesn't work. Don't worry about how much money you have or how much friends you have or any of that stuff, because that will come later. But if you get the experiences right now, and you start to understand, like for me, it's like what was my talent? So my natural talents, I wasn't utilizing them when I was younger because I was scared, especially like for speaking. That was a huge fear for me, was speaking on stage or speaking in front of groups. And I found that I was good at speaking one-on-one to people, but I had that fear. But if I had dove into that fear when I was younger, maybe I would be a lot farther along now. So it's really just getting those experiences, and take your bumps and bruises, because the bumps and bruises are what gives you the wisdom later on in life. And that wisdom you can use to do so many more things than maybe what you can do when you're 18.
Yeah, very wonderfully said. Yeah, it was like, it's interesting because, like, 29, I kind of reached, everything and then I was just looking around, and, it was like, I was so miserable. So, I had to really like dig deep and figure out how could I really utilize my talents and not just chase these, accolades.
Yeah. So what was your light bulb moment?
My light bulb moment was really this idea where you don't have to be part of this system, like, this whole this whole indoctrination. You can actually go out and create your own success, and kind of independent of what the media, mainstream media, and all of these outlets are telling us. and you can actually do something that's different, and it's actually that's usually the right way, that was like my aha moment, is like people were breaking the rules and getting away with it and doing well, and people that stuck to the rules were just kind of just for lack of a better word, slaves. So but yeah. And then one thing is as we come to the end of this talk, you talk about achieving personal impossibles, keys to living success. What are your final thoughts before people can reach out to you, contact you?
Yeah. So really, it is like, figure out what your personal impossible is, and really start to think about, why is it impossible for me, and understand like your personal impossibles are temporary. So once you start to put some thought and energy into it, and you focus on what is the direction you want to go, like a lot of people I run into, they focus on so many different directions that they're never going to get to where they want to go, because they're trying to build too many different things all at the same time. Like, just pick something that you're really passionate about, that you love to do, that you would do no matter what. And if it's a hobby, and now look at, okay, how can I make this into more than a hobby? How can I make it into like an income stream, into a career? And because when you do things that you love doing, the money's so much sweeter. It doesn't, it's not attached to like this burden of, I got to go and do this again. Like, I've been in situations with people where they built a business that they hated, but the business was making a lot of money and they had employees and they were stuck in that business. And the only way for them to get out was to sell that business. And it was a lot harder to sell the business than they thought. But I've talked to other people that are doing things like what I'm doing, and they're enjoying it. And even though they're not millionaires, they're enjoying what they're doing, and the money is more than what they need anyway. So they're happy. They're living a smaller scale of a millionaire life.
Very like yeah, that brings me to where money is sort of it's not something static, and it's not something that you accumulate and hoard. It's something that's always, you have the flow, so you always keep it flowing, and it's almost like a snowball effect. So great conversation. How do people contact you, follow you, or reach out to you?
So I'm on Instagram at WT Hamilton on Instagram, and you can check out my website. It's mindsetforsuccesstraining.com, and there's a lot of freebies on there, and I got some training videos that are free. You can watch right on there. So there's a lot of resources, and you also can download the book, which is I'm drawing a blank. There's my free book on there, the Unfair Advantage, and that's going to teach you how to find the unfair advantages in many different things, and new technology and opportunities, and how to utilize those.
For all the listeners out there, WT's resources will be in the links and show notes. So let's give WT a round of applause. Thanks for coming onto the show, dropping these nuggets and wisdom. Talking about how to manifest, and you can find him on Facebook, YouTube, Insta, as well as his website, mindsetforsuccesstraining.com. Be sure to check that out. Grab your free copy he's got a free training there. And with that, thanks so much for coming onto the show.
Yeah, thanks. It was a great chat, Christopher.
I hope you really enjoyed that wonderful, inspirational, motivational piece. Again, wherever you are listening, if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We're on everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Audible. And without much ado, be sure to thank this show's sponsors, and we'll see you next week.